let's boof on my hair now that I'm looking in the camera. Seems to be the first thing I do, doesn't it? Play with the hair. I was just showing my child my grey. Isn't that gorgeous? I'm going to be tricolour soon. Grey, brown and whatever the bottom colour is. Who cares, eh? We're in strange times. Strange things going on. Let me just adjust everything. Let me just... Got some use out of my table today. My nice table over there. I had a healing class. Hi, Tina! I had a healing session with my lovely healing friend, Sarah. I'm doing a healing course and she's my healer, energy healer, and so I used that today. I turned the heater on and it's not going to get much use, is it, for the next few months? So I thought I might as well have a go. Tina, lovely to see you. Hope you're okay. Hope you've been walking the hills in the rain. Not in the rain, preferably in between the rain. And that everything's okay. Anybody else there? Say hello. I'm hoping Fiona's there because I need to say a little thank you to her and accept her offer. Oh. So today we are going to be doing a bit of a mixture. I'm still thinking about the back with this, as we've been doing the back all week. So I'm thinking about, we're still going to keep our focus on the back and the bottom muscles. Yeah, so quite a good focus on the bottom muscles, but we're also going to get some twisting into our waist as ever and get all those diagonal muscles. So we are going to do arch and curl. We're just going to release our psoas, so it's just a leg sliding up, leg sliding down. Walked up the beacon in the sunshine this morning, lovely. Oh, some dogs going bad outside. That's great, lovely. My car's not working. I need to get my car fixed before I can go anywhere, and I do need to do some shopping. I've had the plumber in today and he's put a lovely shower in for me, but it's cost me about 300 quid. Hey! But I'm getting some universal credit soon, so that's good, isn't it? Oh, funny times, funny times. Anyway, so yes, we're going to do lengthening the psoas. We'll lengthen our arms above our head, so we've got nice long bodies, so front and back. And then we are going to go onto our fronts. We're going to do some leg lengthening and we're going to do some back lifting on the up and down, so on the vertical. And then we are going to do our side propeller, which we haven't done for ages, but is really great for kind of lengthening into the lower back, getting a twist, getting some lengthening up in the upper body. So that's what we're going to do today. Okay, so I'll show you those and then we will crack on. What's the time? I said, oh, I've got loads of time. Right, so I'll show you. We're doing arch and curl. Can you see me? Just about. No, my head's never in, is it? Not that you need to see my head, you just might need to see my arms a bit more today. So we're going to arch and curl, which we normally do. I'll just put my hands here. If you're watching, you can see what the tilt is. Feet hip width apart. And then we are going to bring our arms in, as we would always do, either way, hugging or widening. And then we are going to, well, it's up to you. We have been doing a leg lift, so you could do a leg lift if you want to. Otherwise, we're just going to slide our leg away, so we get that nice long lengthening down the leg, down the abdomen, into the psoas muscle, and then bring the leg up again. And then it's up to you whether you bring the knee up. So I'm going to give you that choice. Yeah, we probably will, because it's good for the lower back. Then we're going to do legs stuck together side to side. We're going to get some nice twisting before we start doing the propeller. This is all kind of building up to lengthening before we do the propeller. We're going to do some arm lengthening over our heads. And then we're going to turn over onto our fronts. We are just going to do our toe tuck, where we tuck our toes under our heels. So we've got our toes tucked under our heels, and then we're just going to go side to side. And if I remember, we're going to do it with a wider leg. So we're going to do it here, and you're going to get a kind of feel for how it feels to have the inner thigh, outer thigh switching on as well. Or lengthening the back of the knee, side of the knee. And then we're going to just do our bent leg foot lift. like that. Whether we bring the upper body in or not is another matter. I haven't decided yet. And then we're going to do our side lying propeller, which is arm under the body, and then we have our knees at about 45 degrees to the torso, and then we have our other arm above our head, and we just very gently rock forward and back. So we start engaging the shoulder muscles. This is very strong through the shoulders. So some of you might have a pillow and end up doing it this way if it's too strong, or even with a bent arm, but the whole move is up here because we want to get side lengthening. So you might find by the time we get there that you can have your arms above your head. That's a little bit strong in my shoulder, so I'm going to bend my arm a bit and do it like this. Just have a little bend and rest my hand. So at this moment, if I'm doing it later, I'm probably going to be okay to have a long arm. And then we start bringing it into an arc around the body, and then we eventually start sending the leg forward as we take the arm back, and as we get past the center we can take the leg back and bring the arm forward. So eventually you start kind of going a bit further, your arm goes a bit further. Well, it's not very open, this arm at all. And that's our propeller. We'll spend a bit of time doing that because it's great. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. Hi Sue Rule. Hoik your trousers up. Oh dear me. I got some lovely cake today from my next door neighbour Wendy from a vegan company. I'll send you all the link. I'll put the link on. It was lovely. Oh, so nice. She passed it over the fence to me. It was still dangling over the fence. So that's our moves today. I just get excited about things. Any questions, anything you need to tell me, anything you're worried about, anything you've got going on, you need to think about, any of those moves that if you watch them made you think I can't do that today, maybe I could do it in some other way, let me know. Yeah, other than that, I hope you're okay, I hope you're all safe. What else is happening? Don't know. Nothing really. Oh dear, but yes, let's hope the weather changes back to how it was, because I'm not liking this dog walking in the rain, Tina. Are you? It's not all that it's cut out to be, which is not. Oh, I'm editing my book. Yes, I'm halfway through editing my first Sea of Liars book, so that's taking a bit of time. It's a bit brain taxing trying to edit out a love story that runs through the whole book to try and make it younger. Anyway, enough of that. So, shall we think about getting started? We do our scan first. Hopefully you've all done a standing sort of scan, or you've had a look at what your body's doing, or how you've had a look at yourself today and noticed how you're moving. If you haven't, do that quickly. Just have a little scan while you're standing or walking. And then we'll go to lying down, and we will crack on. I will take my glasses off. I will move the comments out the way. And then I can see whether my head's actually in the picture or not, and we'll have a lie down and have a scan. Oh, there we go. I think I'm in. Lovely. So, resting down, let everything roll out, roll in, roll somewhere. I'll scratch my nose because my glasses have just been taken off. Let's do a one-sided scan. So let's scan all the way up the left side, kind of rotating around it, looking all the way up. Just checking out everything all the way up, back and front, sides, inner thighs, outer thighs, all around the joints. Getting a feel for what's going on, how it looks in your mind's eye. Aches and pains. Twitching. Look at your back, your pelvis, how everything moves on that side. Make sure you check out the arm on the way up. We're doing quite a bit with the arms today, and armpits and lengthening shoulder blades, so make sure I had a good look. And when you've had a good look at your left side, it's quite nice cutting your body in half. Go down the other side. down the arm. Watch your breathing on the opposite side, where it goes, what it does to the body. What sensations occur in that. When you're down at your feet, then gently bring them up, knee out to the side, both sides. And do that gently, you don't have to drop your knee right down to the floor. It'll protect your groin as well as your lower back. Line your feet up, hip width apart, not too much of a bend in the knee. Breathe in through your nose, out through your mouth. Slow it down on the out breath. Take that time to do that. It's very easy to still be distracted, especially when we brought the legs up and kind of not quite slowed the nervous system down yet. So really try and get your breath slower. Might take a bit longer with some people if they've come from a stressful situation, had a bad day. Their inner child's having a bit of a grump. And then focus on where the breathing goes. So are you breathing along the midline? Are you breathing out to the sides? Do you breathe up into the chest, up into the shoulders and neck, down to the groin? Where does your breath expand into the body? So you'd have a good few breaths exploring this and taking it a bit further down each time. Or if you're already breathing right down into your belly and you've let go in that area, then have a look at the upper body for a little while. Especially if we're going to work up there a bit today. Soon as you feel able to, start gently arching the back, tilting the pelvis forward. If you're new to this, the bowl of water on your abdomen will be spilling the water forward. So if your bowl of water, fall up to the top. If you tilt your pelvis forward, the water will spill between your legs, between your toes. You don't have to keep that visual there. It does help to go back to it though, if you're new to this. Check out how wonky you are. Do you tilt over? I'm just pushing into my left side a bit more than my right. Being pushed over by my right, I think. The pelvis as I arch. Breathe right down into your abdomen, into your belly. Come back gently as the breath goes out. Bring the shoulders in as soon as you want to. They just press back at the same time, so you get more of an arch. The full length of the back might be small, might be very big. You've got no problems. You're nice and soft. You've been doing somatics every day. You're a strength worker and you've got nice strong back muscles. Not tight, strong. And then you might be fine with this movement. So the backs of my arms and shoulders at the top are pressing into the floor gently. It's lengthening my chest muscles, so I have to keep aware of that because that's that tight red light reflex. If you've been typing away all day, gardening, I won't say driving because we're not allowed to be driving long distances, are we? So we shouldn't have tight chest muscles from driving. Maybe from dog walking, holding a lead. And then as soon as you feel that you've looked at your back for a while, we're not going to do any of the lower back stuff, the upper arm stuff that we did the last couple of days. We're just going to leave that out today. We're going to just focus on the length of the back, how it all feels in the back. Some of you's arms might be just naturally opening with this. Then we're going to start curling. So all that happens is on the out breath, we start bringing the pelvis in the opposite direction, bowl of water tilting water down towards your face, along your chest, if it was there. Same if you had one on your chest, it would tilt down towards your pelvis also, as the shoulders round forward. So you could bring the whole lot in at the same time, shoulders rounding forward, or you could just work on the pelvis. Some of you might, if you are new to this, maybe this is the first time doing it after watching some videos or doing the 7-day challenge, you might still be getting used to the arch and curl, turning it into a smooth movement, because that's what you're aiming for. Muscle fibres reacting how they should. Lengthening without pulling or juddering or being fearful. So we're just gently arch and curling, whatever level you can get to. Doesn't have to be very big. I'm having to just focus along my collarbone a little bit today. I had a bit of neck pain yesterday for some reason, that old neck pain from the cat bowl. I'm going to go on about this cat bowl forever. It's ruined me. Still getting shockwaves. Shows you how long things go on, doesn't it? Just arch and curling gently, watching what's going on. And then what we're going to do is we're going to either bring the arms across the body in your little hug, those people with shoulder issues. Squeeze into the chest muscles gently, open the arms. So if I do this one, I just glide my forearms across my rib cage in front of me, squeeze the chest muscles together, kind of touch my elbows with the hands, and then I let the back of the arms come back down on the floor. My hands just kind of stay rested on my abdomen. So that's on the out breath, you're reaching across. In breath, you're bringing the arms back down. That might be your first progression, and then you might take the arms out a little bit wider and squeeze in. Open them a bit wider, just open those chest muscles, or you might go up higher above your chest with that one. Or like we do usually in class, we don't usually do that, but it's easier for new people. This just elbows across the body, fingertips by your ears. So most of the people that are watching from my class would be probably doing this unless they've got a shoulder issue. Obviously you look day to day and see what your body can cope with. So even though something's been going on in my chest and neck, this is fine for me. And if it wasn't, then I would do the elbows close to my body, lower down. It's quite strong on the tricep muscles in the back of the arm, this one. Make sure you're okay in that area, into the shoulder blades. Watch how the shoulder blades separate as you bring the arms across. So remember, we're still having a bit more of a focus on the back, so watch what's going on in your back, how this affects your lower back. Might not be able to arch and curl as deeply. Keep the jaw soft, keep the neck in your mind that it moves as well. It shortens and lengthens with this. Shortens in the back as you bring the elbows across. I'm going to do a couple more rounds of this, and then I'm going to let go, have a little rest, bring everything down, let everything settle, let the brain cope with all that information, store it all away, and then I just bring my legs down gently. So we're moving forward with the arch curl a bit quicker than we have done the rest of the week. I did quite a lot on Tuesday, so if you want to watch that video, then you'll do more arch and curl work. A couple of rounds of breath, doing nothing. And then we're going to gently bring the knees up. We'll leave the shoulders out for a little while. We're just going to think about lengthening the psoas muscle. So we're thinking about lengthening into the groin and the front of the body, abdominal muscles up to the rib cage by lengthening the leg down. So we'll start with the right leg, arching gently, curling gently. When you feel ready, on an arch, or just before you get to the arch, so when you're back to neutral, start sending the right foot away, lengthen it down, arch it into that, come back with the foot to neutral, and then just arch, curl the pelvis up. Try not to push into the feet. You might find just because you put that foot back there, you want to push into the feet. Try not to. And then from then on, we're just going to arch and curl, bringing that leg in. So the leg goes down as you begin to arch, or on the neutral, and then you could arch when the leg's down. Might not go all the way down, you might have still have a bent knee at some point. Try not to let it go through the air. Try and make it all happen on the floor with the foot. Now I know some of you might automatically want to bring your knee up, that's okay, but just spend a little time lengthening the leg first so your brain's getting those signals. Breathe right down into the abdomen when you arch, lengthening in the groin, the inner thigh. Try and use the abdominal muscles as you curl. Got our arms by our sides, we're not bringing the chest muscles in at the moment. So if you want to bring the knee up, you can, that's up to you. Otherwise, leave it where it is, or just lift the toes up with the heel on the floor. If you want to. If you want to just keep investigating the lengthening of the leg and feeling all around the groin, the thigh, the calf, then maybe just focus on that. If you want to focus on the lift of the knee, then you can. So after a few rounds of this leg lengthening or knee lifting, it's up to you, we're going to bring the arms in. So going back to the elbows going across the body, or the hug, and then you're just going to spread the elbows on the in-breath as you lengthen the leg down, and as you bring the leg up, you can take the arms across the body, either with a knee lift or with just a curl. So make sure you can cope with that. Your brain can cope with it, your body can cope with it. It might be too strong for some people. You work to your own level of what you can do. I'm just taking it to the kind of full extension of telling you what you could be doing and showing you what you could be doing. And it's up to you what parts you bring in or don't. I can't see you, so I can't advise you if you're doing something naughty. No pain, that's the real important one. And then slowing it down. Resting, making sure you not arch and curling and then trying to lift the knee when your back's arched, or trying to send the leg down when your back's curled. I'm going to do 2 more of the level that I'm working at on this leg. So we've got some other things to do. I'm going to lengthen my leg down, lengthen my arms down, let go. So I'm going to do the opposite side. Make sure you've had a couple of breaths doing absolutely nothing. Feet hip width apart. Line them up. Make sure you check your hips. Your hips aren't that as wide as you think, most of you. And then starting on the other side. So we're arch and curling. I'm going to keep my arms down to start with because it's a new thing for the brain to think about the opposite side. For it to focus on, to get the signals. And then when I feel like everything's okay on that side, I'll start lengthening the leg down first. Still just arch and curling in the pelvis. Might bring the shoulders in. Might not for a little while. Try not to push into the feet when you curl. Scrunch into the abdomen, draw it up. And then at any point you can emulate the other side, or you can go a bit further, it's up to you. You might not have been lifting the knee, you could lift the knee this time, or just lift the toes. And when you feel ready to bring the arms in, you can bring them in, or you don't have to. You could do it at a lower level with the hug. If you really can't do any of those, you could just roll the arms into the side of the body. Try and involve the shoulders though, so you're getting a tightening in the back, squeezing into the chest and the abdomen. Gives it the potential to lengthen further if you do that, through the front of the body. Check in with your neck occasionally. Make sure your jaw's soft. You don't start creating tension because you're concentrating so hard. Keep the fingers and the wrists off, the ankles. Unless you're pointing and flexing the feet as well. Some of you might be doing that. Quite a lot to do all this if you haven't done it before, so make sure that you've had a play around with some of the other videos, had a practice at home before you do the knee lifting and shoulder combining. And I know some of you probably want to lift up if you've got your elbows involved. I know you're probably doing that anyway. That's fine. Carry on. Maybe do a few more. Couple more. Just my last one. And lengthen that leg down. Let the rest of my body go. Soft, soft, soft. Do nothing. So we're going to just do one last thing with our arms. Just we want to get some more length down our back and our front. So before we do the propeller later. So we're going to do our lengthened arms. So arms parallel above your chest. Drop the shoulders back down. You've got your knees up to feet on the floor. And then we're going to arch and curl again. And we send the long arms back behind us. Palms are facing forward towards the knees. And then we send the arms forward as we curl. So we're arching, curling with long arms going forward and back above our head. Bend the elbows if you need to. Have the back of the arms rested on the floor if you need to. Just work with the forearms. You're still going to twist and do this angle through the shoulders. Just notice your shoulders. If you've got a nice long arch, then you could take the shoulder blades down your back. You shuffle them down to start with, as long as your chest's okay and your neck's okay. So I could adjust my shoulder blades down my back and then squeeze them down because the arch is quite big. Let them slide out as the shoulders come forward. That's if you're doing a big arch and curl, because everything's loosened up so beautifully from the last move. Squeeze them down your back. You're going to get much more tightening in the back and then more lengthening. Make sure it doesn't hurt. You're not forcing anything. It's not being forced into the floor. You're not opening your chest or your arms too much, but it hurts. Keep your neck in mind, especially with this one, if it is quite long. So you could do this with a leg lengthening. I'll give you that option. I'm not going to do it, but you could. You could lengthen your leg down as the arms go back on one side. Don't do both. A little bit too much for the arch of your back for that. We need a little stabilising leg on one side. Just make sure everything you do is releasing gently, fluidly. I mean, mine's quite a large movement, quite a lot of tightening, but I have to be very mindful both sides that everything's letting go without any bouncing, otherwise I'll pay for it later because I'll have been overdoing it and things will hurt rather than feel loosened and softened and pain-free. Doesn't help to be talking the whole time you're doing this, so I have found that actually if I'm talking and not concentrating, that I do have some aches that I wouldn't otherwise have. I'm going to make that the last one, so you might carry on for another couple and then gently lengthen everything down. So we're going to do one last thing on our backs because I want to start loosening our lower back muscles on the diagonal and our abdominal muscles on the diagonal and across from the chest. So we're going to stick our feet together, our knees together. So we're already tightening into the groin and the inner thigh muscles. And then we are going to gently take our knees from side to side. So I want you to focus on the bottom as ever. We start with the pelvis focus. How does it feel to rock from side to side? How does it feel with the sacrum kind of shifting about? How does it feel in the bottom muscles, side of the legs? So I'm not going very far to start with. I haven't even got to the point where I might put my feet on top of each other side to side. Just concentrating on that squeeze on the inner thighs, keeping them together. My arms, maybe bring your arms out a little bit wider for when you start going a little bit further. Concentrate on your bottom muscles, how it feels in the SI joint at the back, which is on each side of the pelvis, joining the sacrum, the triangle to the pelvis on each side. Can hurt in there, so just be mindful. This might play onto a sciatic nerve, so just watch that as well. When you're starting to get a little bit more side to side movement in your bottom is letting go a little bit, and the side legs and the hips around, everything around that side area is feeling okay. Then start looking at your waist, making your waist the focus, the back, the front, connection to the to the rib cage. And then if you're going a bit further each time, then you could possibly stack your feet up. It's quite strong to do that, so feel how that feels. You might need to anchor your shoulder down on the opposite side a little bit, like we did in the arch and curl. Come back to the centre. Make sure that you rest back into the pelvis before you go to the other side, so it's not pendulum swinging. Remember that. Just settle your feet back, settle your pelvis back down. Then go to the side, because that means you're engaging muscles. They have to switch on and off, rather than just being propelled by the action from the other side. If you can, you might even switch the inner thighs off when you get back to the centre. See if you can do that. Just means you don't squeeze as hard. Don't have to stack the feet, that might be too strong for you. You might just slide the knees across, you might just slide the feet out of the way, the knees might slide down a little bit. Don't take them too far away from each other. You still want to have a little bit of traction, a little bit of working against the tightness. Turn your chin if you need to. If you need to and you're going quite far with the knees, turn your chin to the other side. To look towards your shoulder, ear to shoulder maybe, chin to shoulder. So focus on the breath for a few rounds, breathing right down into the abdomen. Almost ballooning the stomach if it's strong, if it's soft enough for that to happen. I'm going to make this the last couple for me. quite tough on your groin if you've got any, if you've got tight inner thighs or your pelvis tilts too much forward, back, sorry. So always be mindful of how far you take these things and how long you do them for. And start building these up like you would anything else, building these movements up. Having a rest down, legs lengthen, arms by your side, don't do anything. Enjoy that not doing anything. And then we're going to go over onto our fronts. So it's our last time on the back till we finish. Come over onto your fronts gently, try and keep your neck down, head down, neck long. When you get there, you can put your arms wherever you like, wherever they're comfortable, under your forehead, under your chin. Keep your neck long. We're not going to do anything with the upper body yet. We're just going to focus on our legs. So we're going to have our legs hip width apart. Tuck the toes under the heels or be on the tiptoes or whatever you can manage in this position. So you've got some flexion in the ankles so you can feel it in the calves and in the back of the legs. Possibly up to the bottom where it connects to the sit bones. And then we're going to gently take the heels of the feet side to side. So we want to keep the pelvis square. So if I'm taking my heels to the left and my right side wants to lift up, but I'm going to keep it back down and not take the heels that far. And that's kind of our marker to whether the legs are lengthening or not. The muscles in the back of the legs. If the pelvis keeps lifting up, you're going too far. So you can do it with the breath, breathe in as you go to the side. So expand into the lower back. It's nice and slow, rhythmic, coming back to the centre. You might find one heel can go further than the other. Might not be so tight up the leg. Soften the upper body. You might find you can tuck the toes under a bit more as the back of the legs and under the feet lengthen. Check it out. You might not, you might be cramping, so you might need to go the other way. A couple more in this position. Have a little rest your toes down when you've done the last one. Let go. Let go of the bottom muscles so your heels roll out. And then we're going to take the feet wider. Have your couple of breaths doing nothing. And then we're going to take the feet wide so they can slide out to the corners of the mat. Then we're going to do the same thing. We're going to come up onto the toes. My big toe on my left doesn't want to flex. Got a bunion from wearing vegan shoes when I was 18. Of all things. Didn't make them as flexible then. And then side to side with the heels in this position. So again, you're trying to keep the pelvis down. Watch what's happening in your inner thigh, back of your knees, outer thighs. Occasionally check whether you could tuck the toes under a little bit more. Could they flex a little bit more? We're looking for length in the foot as well. Trying to keep that pelvis down. Use the breath to expand into the lower body. Nice and soothing, this one. So I'm going to do 2 more each way. I'm going to let go. Do nothing. Couple of breaths. And we're going to go back to hip width apart with our legs. And we're going to flex the knee on the right side, so it's going to come up to 90 degrees. We're going to flex the foot so your sole of your foot is pointing up to the ceiling. And then we're going to lift the foot gently. So make sure your forehead's on the floor or on your hands, and then gently squeeze the bottom, lift it up. Come down slowly, 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 slowly. Just for the bottom muscles, back of the legs. And it will lengthen in the groin at the front. Make sure you're fully relaxed down. Let go of the thigh muscles. Opposite leg, bottom muscles. Just keep the calf up. Calf's going to stay up in the air. Squeeze up again, squeeze into the bottom muscles, lift up. Gently down, 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 down. Release the bottom muscles gently. We had the squeezing on Monday. We know how much we can do or can't do. Might have changed since then. Right, the legs soften. Go again, squeeze the bottom muscles. We're going to really feel that you've squeezed the bottom muscles before you lift the leg. Come down slowly. Notice what switches on, what switches off, what's having to hold you in place. I'm going to do one more. When you've done your last one, lower that calf down, point the toes, lower the calf down gently. Try not to let the back of the leg bounce. Soften it down, let go. Couple of breaths doing nothing, and then we're going to go onto the opposite leg. Bending at the knee, flexing the foot, squeezing the bottom muscles as you lift up. Breathe in as you go up. Breathe out as you come down. Make sure you don't overdo it into the back. Once the leg's down, you can take a nice breath in like we did yesterday. Lengthen the back muscles. Make sure the thigh muscles have softened and let go. The only thing you're hanging on to is the back of the leg where the calf's held up, and the flexion in the foot. If you're lifting up quite high, which is my stronger side, I have to be aware of my right side stabilising, so I don't want to cause problems into the groin that's tightening on the right, which is my problem area, so I have to keep an eye on that. I'm going to do one more, so I've done 4 on both sides, I think. Who knows with the talking. When you've done your last one, let go of the flexion in the toes, bring the leg down gently. Let everything go, soft, 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 do nothing. So we're going to go on to our side. I'm going to go on my left side, down. I'm going to lengthen my left leg, left arm, under my head, up above, so it's in line with my body. Palm down or on the side of your hand, it's up to you. If you can't do that, get a pillow and bring your arm next to you, in front of you, so it's 90 degrees to you. Other arm rests on wherever your hand is. If you can put it above your head, put it above your head. If you can't, then it rests on the one in front of you. And then if you're doing that, hands in front of your face, in front of you with a long stretched out arm, then you just open across the body. If you're going to join in with the full propeller, then your arms are above your head, and you just gently take that upper shoulder forward and back to start with. See how your waist feels, see how that arm feels. It's a little bit strong for my shoulder still, so I'm going to just bring my hand onto the elbow, the inner elbow of my lower arm, my upper arm, so that takes the pressure out. Keep your knees at 45 degrees or just a bit higher maybe to the torso, stacked on top of each other, and try not to let them pull apart or lift off the floor. Because we want this to come from the abdomen, the lower back, the waist, the upper body. We want the muscles to switch on and off along those lines diagonally. So if your fingertips are on the floor, the upper hand, you just sweep them gently behind you and in front of you from kind of 1 o'clock to 11 o'clock. And then slowly, hopefully your waist and back muscles will start letting go. And this becomes a bit more of a sweep, a bit more of a bigger movement. Try and move your head and neck. I'm just keeping in mind, this is my not so great shoulder, so it doesn't reach as far, so I'm just having some awareness if it's okay. It's a little bit strong for me, so again I'm just going to bend at the elbow. But I want to start coming forward, so my nose might touch down on the floor. It's still rested on my lower arm, but it might touch down on the floor. I'm looking over my shoulder, taking that arm and shoulder back. Some of you might be taking that shoulder right down onto the floor, depending on how much room you've got in your armpit, how tight your arms are, how much rotation you've got in your shoulder, how much your chest muscles are letting go, if your neck muscles are okay. What we're going to start doing is, wherever you've got to, arms opening across the front or above your head, every time our shoulder passes that side of our body, we're going to extend the leg, so the calf is going to come forward like you're kicking a ball. So it's doing the opposite thing to the arm. So my right arm's going back, my left leg's kicking forward, lower leg's bent, and then I'm going to come back the other way and I'm going to sweep the leg behind me. It's easy to do if you've got past the midline with the arm. So it's like you're diving forward and the leg's gone back behind you. I'm going to adjust my trousers so you don't have to see my belly. And then the leg sweeps round, the arm sweeps back, and vice versa. So my arm comes forward. So if you have your arm in front of you on the other arm, then you would just reach forward and the leg goes back. So the leg is now long and stays long. Unless you can't take the leg back behind you, if it's too much for your bottom muscles or your back, then you would just maybe bend it back to where it started at the knee. All of us probably can do the kicking forward. That can go as high as you want. It could come right up to meet your arm if you can. Let's put the belly away again. And then reaching forward. So these trousers like rolling down. I've got some that will stay over my belly, but not these ones. Not the best move to do in them on camera. So involve your neck. Let the neck rotate, look behind you, look down to the floor. Try and keep your toes on the floor with the extended leg if you can. Lengthen it away from you as the waist lengthens. So you can feel that reaching down below the toe on the other side. Tuck myself in again. Dear. So you might end up with one leg right in front of you at 90 degrees and your other arm round with 3 o'clock. 3 and 9. Or 9 and 3, whichever way round it is. So you're really rolling forward, really rolling back. In an ideal world, your right shoulder would be down on the floor behind you every time you go back. in an ideal world, your chest would be right down on the floor as you come forward. So I'm going to do one more each way. And then I'm going to rest on my side, adjust my trousers and do nothing. Make sure everything's soft, shoulder, arms, fingers, neck, lower waist, upper waist, in between the calves, thighs, knees. When you're done, either come onto your front and roll to the other side, keeping the neck long, or come over onto your back, bring the knees up. And then see what you can do with the other arm. See if your other arm's happy to go along the floor under your head, or if it needs to be out in front of you. It's going to be different on each side probably. Bring your knees up to 45 degrees, 90 degrees. Have a pillow if you need one, if your arms are reached out in front of you. Really adjust yourself, lengthen along the lower body. Reach your arm up and then just take the shoulder back. So you can do this with the breathing. Breathe in as you go back, breathe out as you come forward. Make this come from the waist and the chest as much as you can, rather than flinging the arm back from the armpit. You're rocking forward, you're rocking back. It's very strong in the arms. That's why we did all the arm lengthening before. In the chest. And we did some waist work, so you wouldn't ever go straight into this. You build up to it, make sure you've done some work around the middle, knees side to side, lengthening the arms and chest muscles. In fact, probably I would have thought about doing the human X as well before doing this. In a longer class. Start taking the leg forward whenever you feel like you want to. Just building that movement up slowly. Breathing in as you go back, breathing out as you come forward. Nice sweeping action. Tucking yourself in if you need to. I'm going to do 2 more each way. And when I've done my last round, tuck myself in again, then I'm going to let go. Rest on my side, keep my neck long down, don't sit up. Ooh, the rains are coming. And then I'm going to slide out, lie on my back, keep my neck long so I'm not turning my nervous system on and off. Fight or flight. I'm going to soften into the floor, let go. Sometimes I like to finish with a round of arch and curls when I'm doing this at home by myself, just to check out how everything is moving. So you could do that. Sometimes we finish with the wash rag. A little bit aware of the time again, so you could do that yourselves. Otherwise, we're just going to have a scan. Same thing, you might start on the right this time, you might start your head, it's up to you. Scanning up one side, round and round the legs or round the arms. Looking at the body, the torso. How everything feels. You might do a bit of neck side to side just to investigate. Have a little sink into the floor. So when you're feeling able to, you stay here. As I say every time, you can stay here. You don't have to get up and go and do anything. I let you. You have my permission to lie here for the whole evening. If you don't want to do that, then you can wiggle your fingers and your toes a bit and start thinking about getting some energy back into the body that you can use after the class. So you're not so well, what's the word, knocked out? Calm is what I call it. If you feel like you're thinking of getting up, then you can start moving your knees, coming onto your sides, keep your head down, have a little rest there. What are you thinking about coming up? When you do come up slowly, use the arms, push up. Come to sitting. Get a look about, work out where you are. I've got a flashing fire. So if you are sitting and you're looking at me, hello. Tina's watching. Hello, Tina. You're very welcome, Sue. I hope you had a good roll about. I hope you were careful and modified that to your needs with your shoulders and you took it slowly because it's quite a strong one, that last one. I hope you weren't doing that too vigorously. Tomorrow lunchtime I'll be doing this again. I haven't uploaded this week's onto YouTube, but I will do when I get into the house. And then if you need to pass them on to somebody, great. But otherwise, stay safe. Lots of love. If you need to ask me anything, send me an email, text, phone me to do with this, or you can just ask me about anything, I don't mind. And I will see you all very soon. Lots of love. Stay safe.